The Hoyt Pro Force is an interesting addition to ArcheryTalk's 2018 target bow project. This bow is part hunting bow, part target bow, and in fact its specs are identical to those of the Hoyt REDWRX. The only differences are a shoot-through riser design, rear stabilizer mounting system, and modular grip. I've dressed up the Pro Force with a specialty archery peep, clarifier, scope and lens, a Sherlock sight, a bright sight arrow rest, and Doinker lead stabilizers. The Pro Force retails for about $1,800, which is actually $100 more than Hoyt's flagship target bow, the Prevail. Specs include an axle-to-axle length of 35 3/4 inches, a brace height of 7 inches, a mass weight of 4.7 pounds, and draw lengths going all the way out to 33 inches. I've got my bow set up with 29.5 inches of draw length. I've spent a lot of time with the Hoyt Prevail target bow as well as the new Carbon RX1 hunting bow, and when it comes to feel, the Pro Force feels a lot more similar to the hunting bow than it does to the Prevail. The Pro Force has much more parallel limbs and a different draw cycle than the Prevail. It's still reasonably smooth, but there is a noticeable drop into the valley, though the valley is quite generous. This is a bow I can hold at full draw for long periods of time. The back wall is a little softer than on some other target bows, but it's noticeably firmer than on the Prevail. My test bow is outfitted with 85% let-off mods, though 80 and 75% options are available. Ultimately, at full draw, I'm just not holding on to very much weight, so compared to the Prevail, which I shot at about 55 or 56 pounds, I've got this maxed out at 62 and I could easily shoot up to 70. I was initially concerned about shooting a target bow with this much let-off, but once I took it out of the box, I started shooting great groups right away, and that was without stabilizers or even a clarifier installed in my peep. And once I got the bow fully set up, I did find that it likes a little bit less stabilizer weight than I do on the Prevail. For me, this is an ideal 3D bow for unknown distance, as I would have no trouble building a reasonably heavy arrow that could achieve maximum speeds. That just isn't an option for me with the Prevail and many other target bows, as I'm not comfortable holding that much weight at full draw. It could also come in handy in feet of 50-meter tournaments when it gets windy, since I shoot it so well without any stabilizers there to get caught up in the wind. The only issue I've had with this bow is when I shoot it in tournaments and the nerves start to kick in a little bit. When I'm at full draw, I don't have a lot of holding weight there to steady me down like I do on other target bows. I think the 75% let-off mods would really help with this. However, I struggle with nerves more than most, so this might not be a problem for you. As for tuning, I struggled a little bit early on as I had a vertical tear I couldn't quite get rid of, no matter what I did with my D-loop or my arrow rest. It turns out my arrows were running a little bit stiff. I was using a gold tip XXX for my indoor arrow and an X cutter for 3D, and those are both fairly stiff arrows. I ended up shooting a friend's softer spined arrow, and it got a bullet hole right away. Interestingly, I saw a George Riles video with him setting up this very bow, and he had the opposite problem, that his arrows weren't quite stiff enough. So again, it's possible I'm doing something a little bit wrong. Fit and finish is as you would expect from a Hoyt target bow. They just know how to make a stunning looking target riser. I also really like the modular grip design on this bow, just like it had on the Prevail. You've got a number of different inserts you can put in there to find the grip angle that suits you best. For anybody in the market for a target bow that you can pull back big weight on and still hold easily, I would not hesitate to recommend the Hoyt Pro Force. And if you're a nervous shooter like me, maybe look into the 75% let-off mod.